Hi, I'm Caroline, founder of Create Today and one of the speakers and partners of the 2025 Psychosocial Safety Summit, coming to you this year from Williamtown on the 20th and the 21st of March. Today, I'm taking over to introduce you to our host and speaker, the most amazing and incredible Nicole Turnbull, founder and Chief Courage Officer at Neon Shed. The Meet the Speaker videos were such a hit last year and in the lead up to the Brisbane Summit because they give everyone a chance to connect with us before the event. Nicole worked so hard at bringing last year's event together, which was truly spectacular. And this year we are back at it. I am absolutely honoured to be able to introduce you to our wonderful Nicole Turnbull. Nicole, thank you for being on your own podcast.
These are always so much fun with you. Thank you for being the host, Caroline, and going off script. It's always great.
Nicole, I always have to say what is within. And before we get started with the questions, having worked with you over the last couple of years is amazing and it has just been incredible. You know what I love the most? You have always greeted the work and the work that we do, which is very difficult, with a smile.
Yes.
Now, last year in Brisbane, you said that this would be your last summit. And yet here we are gearing up for the Hunter region. What changed?
Look, you're right. I did say that I wouldn't host another annual summit, and that is still true. The pressure to go bigger every year is quite intense, and it does, as you know, take a huge amount of time and energy to bring things like this to life, especially when there is so much passion and love, as you and I have for this topic. But I also realized that bigger doesn't always mean better. And one thing that people love about our summits is that sense of community and the sense of connection. And you really get to know everyone and create lasting relationships when they are, at that between 80 and 120, instead of, the thousands. And that ability to create those relationships gets lost with bigger events. So what I wanted to do is flip that script. So no more annual summits, no big city venues. This time we're focused on connection, courage, and community right where it's needed. So we're bringing incredible speakers like you to regional areas so that people don't have to spend time and money traveling to the city. I hear so often of, and you and I, you soon, but me now, are in the regions, and we spend so much time and money additionally to get to these events. So to be able to go to where people are that really are looking for these is what I wanted to do.
I really like the way that you've described that, because a lot of the organizations that are Sydney based or city based, very rarely they might be working with a state based community, but they won't leave their city limits.
Yep.
And so unless people are in the region working with people in the regions and solving the problems that matter for them, it's really difficult to actually then have that sense of community. So I think what you're doing with the regional summit and going out there and being with people and also making that a year on year thing, I'm just putting that out there. I think it's really wonderful, and we can reflect on this in 10 years and go, wow, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Because this is your 4th summit.
It is.
Right. So, if you haven't been following up until now, this is 4 years that you've been doing this, and you have an incredible presence in your own psychosocial safety community. But I have just hopped off a different podcast, and someone completely unrelated, she said, do you think we could get Neon Shed to talk on our podcast? And I thought, as a matter of fact, I think I probably could. So what keeps you coming back into the summit space?
Look, every time I plan one, I ask myself that question. But once I'm there, I remember why. And even comments like that, it's being able to get the message out. It's being able to give people the tools. It's being able to connect with people and really change their working world, because you and I have both had struggles, and it's being able to create things to help people have less of a struggle, make their life easier. And honestly, the energy in the room, the information and the tools that people learn and their feedback is incredible. And it drives the event, and it drives me too. I mean, you remember Brisbane. It was utterly incredible. I knew it was going to be great, but it exceeded my expectations, your expectations, everyone else was there. So I went, I can't not do these anymore. They are just so valuable. And I feel like one of my superpowers is really bringing together amazing speakers, partners, and the delegates to create something that genuinely adds value. Some of the feedback that I get is, people go to conferences and events and they really feel sold to. And I feel like my superpower is bringing in people who are like, number one is about adding value. And yeah, the feedback from the summit was exactly that, and the last couple as well. So, and every summit builds on what we learn together. So we design the program with input from, you and the speakers and the challenges that you're seeing, that we're seeing in workplaces, and from the delegates themselves. So, for example, this year's sessions focus on really big issues like, how do you actually recover from burnout? How do you turn around a toxic team? And how do you manage mental health and illness? All of those things came from the delegates at Brisbane, because they loved the summit and they said, these are the things that we want practical tools for. This is what we want to learn next. So that's part of it.
One memory that I have in walking into the summit in Brisbane was someone running up to you saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting you in the flesh." And I thought, isn't that incredible? You have just chipped away and done the thing that you do and you're very, very passionate about. And here was this fangirl thing happening where people just wanted to be able to be close and talk to you and be part of that community. And I think that that's a big thing that I noticed in
Mm.
the summit, was that constant building about that community, which creates that social safety. And we need that social safety for better mental health, and to be able to feel safe about, even as an employer, to ask the question,
Mm.
I need help. I don't know how to do this. And I think that that's where the summit really comes into its own, because everything is so useful and the speakers are so accessible as well.
Yes. Yeah, and that's a good point too. Like, it comes with free hugs. I feel exactly the same way. I love connecting with people who are keen to learn more, who are open and excited about it too. So,
And with many of the conferences that I've ever been to, you will go to those conferences and it actually doesn't matter if it's 20 people or 1,000 people,
mm,
but you
mm,
go, you listen, and then you go back and you think, well, I've learned things, I don't know how to implement it.
yeah,
I now don't know how to ask anybody a question. Whereas from the Brisbane summit, I made more connections and work connections and employer connections than I ever thought that I would. So, and to the point where now I have been able, through you, to be in working parties and put in proposals. And so I think if you are a small to medium employer listening to this podcast, knowing that you actually do come away with contacts is
yeah,
so helpful. So you learn how to do it and
yeah.
you come away with contacts as well, which is why we spend the money to do these things.
Yeah, and you can see the community connecting. Like, I can see it all over LinkedIn and going, oh my gosh, they've connected. That's fantastic. And if there were any missed, like,
Yeah.
I made sure that it happened, because everyone there is for a purpose and everyone has strengths and value add. And While it's not about, number one being sales, it's about providing those tools. But some people, yes, they want to know the tools so that they can learn more and do it themselves. Others are just overwhelmed. So to be able to go, Caroline, help, what do I do next? Have that ability to really understand who you are, what you do, how you can help, and then be able to connect with that. Because a lot of summits I also see in conferences and things, people come in, they do their talk, and then they leave. And it's not just a community with the delegates, it's a community with the speakers as well. Like, everyone is a real part of the local community in the Hunter, because that's where we're coming now, but also a part of the psychosocial safety community. So they want to be there. They want to learn from each other as well. And to see those networks and connections happening, like, that's exactly why I'm doing this. So it is so great to hear. I'm so glad.
You know, an organisation like Neon Shed, though, doesn't invent itself, does it?
No.
So tell me a little bit about your background and what led you to creating the amazing business that is Neon Shed.
Well, I've spent 15 years working in work health and safety and workers' comp. 5 of those have been in my own business, and 10 of those, a full decade, working for both the safety regulators in New South Wales, Workers' Comp Insurer, and the Independent Review Office. And really, through that, I saw how systems that were designed to support people can sometimes cause more harm than good. And I know that people want to go to work and have a great time. And what I found, not only personally when I was a manager, when I was a worker, but through my experience and how I help people now, is they just don't have the tools to be able to do that. So I started Neon Shed to really change that. And the tagline really says it all. It's about bringing light to the dark sides of work. So undressing the uncomfortable things that get swept under the rug, and really creating those tools that genuinely help people thrive, make their life easier, and have safe, supportive workplaces. So,
So
yeah.
how does your work help organisations thrive?
So I help create safe and healthier workplaces by really addressing the tough stuff and the psychosocial risks head on. We often sweep things under the rug, and that never works. Hope is also not a strategy. So my work's really about giving leaders and workers the tools, the options, and the confidence to navigate that tough stuff. So things like, building psychological safety, we're always told to do that, but people want to do that, but they're like, how do I do that? And reducing and minimizing harmful behaviors, working on conflict, and creating those environments where people feel valued and supported. So it's not just about fixing the problems, it's about building those proactive systems and cultures that help everyone thrive, from leadership to the front line. And that's exactly what we do on the summit too.
So can you give us a sneak peek into the sessions that are coming at the summit?
Yes. So all of the speakers have their own Meet Speaker video, and they give a little highlight there. I am incredibly grateful and proud of, again, the team of people that we've been able to pull together. Just a really short sneak peek into what I'll be talking about is the psychosocial safety continuum. So everything from prevention and even pre-prevention strategies to the steps that you can take when things go wrong. So I want to dive into, what works, what doesn't, and give people the tools that they need to create those safer, healthier workplaces. Also knowing that we can't change the systems, so learning how to and showing how to work within them or around them to get the best outcome for everyone. And I'm also really excited to share that you and I will be launching some exciting new initiatives. But that's all I'm going to say, because people will have to join us at the summit to be the first to hear the details. I am kind of busting to share more, but my lips are sealed until then.
So if people can't wait until the summit, how can they connect with you?
You can definitely find me on LinkedIn. I'm there all the time, meeting with incredible people, or visit neonshed.com.au. Please connect with me. I love to chat all things psychosocial safety. And if you've got a problem, there's nothing that the heads of everyone knocked together at the summit can't fix. So yeah, love to connect.
Nicole, it has been a pleasure to finally have the opportunity to interview you. I know that we have done this a couple of times and it's always had this role reversed. There are so many questions I actually have now, and I would really love the opportunity. We'll dig into that another time.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for yet again holding the flag for psychosocial safety. I think that you do it brilliantly, and you should be very proud of not only the work that you've done so far, but this really incredible, encouraging community that has been forming around you of people willing to help each other. And that
Mm.
has been probably the biggest thing that I've noticed and seen over the last few years. So thank you for allowing us to be part of your community.
Oh, you're welcome. And that really warms my heart. And I've said this to you before, and I'll say it again. What you do is utterly incredible, and keep doing what you're doing. And I will be forever your cheerleader as well. And thank you for being involved for the fourth year in a row. That's incredible. I love it.
Well, I love being here. So, stay tuned, people, because there will be more.
Yes.